I'm kind of giggling at myself because I just went like this and like found like there was like one gray bang hair sticking straight out, just like, and yeah, I had to just rip that out because, I mean, you get it. Anyway, hi, I'm Melissa. This is the Stitches Be Slippin podcast. You can find me on Instagram as Stitches Be Slippin. No underscores, no anything like that. I'm the OG Stitches Be Slippin on Instagram. I think there are actually quite a few other like variations of it, but like I have the actual Stitches I don't know. I got in early enough, I guess, with my silly little pun. My stitches have been slipping lately, but we'll get into that later. I'm all over the place. Melissa, I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am a knitter, mainly. I also do other things. I crochet, diamond dots, diamond painting, whatever you call that. I've done a few of those. I've done some embroidery. I've done some needle punch. I have ADHD, so I get distracted really easily, so I go on tangents quite a lot. If you're new here, you will notice that. Also, if you're new here, I am a very left-wing, liberal person. And if you don't like that particular kind of person, then you may want to just skip it on to the next podcast and see if that one might suit you a little bit better. I also swear a lot, and if you don't like that, also you might want to just keep passing on, because I've never met an F-bomb that I didn't like. Okay, so last episode, I was sick at home from work. I'm feeling better. Hopefully no snort, any of that today. Sorry for that, but just had to do that for a dramatic effect. I am getting my COVID booster and flu shot at the same time tomorrow, so hopefully that goes well. Me and both of the kids are going to get that done, so they're not very excited about that, but I was like, well, we're gonna go get it all done at once so then we don't have to go twice. Yes. Anyway, also if you're new here, I tend to just ramble on about my life forever and then get to the knitting later. So I'll put down here what time I'm actually going to start talking about knitting in case you don't give a flying fuck about what's going on in my life because you don't know me. But if you don't know me, you should stick around. I'm kind of fun. I went to the Taylor Swift concert movie. Was it last weekend? 2 weekends ago? It's Friday today, so technically 2 weekends ago. On opening weekend, I went. My husband went with me, sat through 3 hours of the Taylor Swift concert. He secretly likes Taylor Swift. Not that there's anything wrong with men liking Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift is universal. And anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about Taylor Swift, but I love Taylor Swift. I am a white woman, so I think it's just like genetic. I don't know. Not that only white women can love Taylor Swift. It was great. The concert was great. She puts on an amazing show. Everyone in our theater was like jumping up and dancing and singing, and it was a very fun time. I sang the entire way through the whole concert. There was another guy sitting beside me with his wife or partner or whoever, and he eventually moved, I think, because I was maybe singing in his ear too much. I don't know. Dude, you're at a Taylor Swift concert. That's what's gonna happen. I did get the cup. I was able to get the cup, but I also wanted the popcorn bowl, because there's like a big popcorn bowl with this design on it, and I was going to use it as my popcorn bowl for when we have movie nights at home, like for the rest of my life. And we went on the second day that the movie was out. The movie opened Friday. We went on Saturday afternoon to like a 3 o'clock matinee show. Yeah, we paid a babysitter to go to this. It was like 4 hours, like $80 babysitter to go to this. Anyway, it was the second day of the concert, and they were all sold out of popcorn bowls already, so I wasn't very happy about that. But anyway, I still got to see it. What else have I been up to? Last weekend, I went to Fiers Shindig, which is a local yarn festival here in Calgary. It's a really great festival. It used to be in one location, but then it grew a little bit, and now it's over in another like nice big location in a big gym, and so it has lots of great vendors. We're very lucky here in Alberta to have lots and lots of amazing local indie yarn dyers and project bag makers and potters and like all the things. We have all the things here. So that was great. I had been feeling like a little bit of FOMO because Rhinebeck was last weekend, and then that quickly wore off because I was able to go to Shindig, but then also all of the like horror stories coming out of Woolen Folk. But I won't talk about that here. I wasn't there. I think it's been beaten to death on Instagram and et cetera, so I don't really have anything to add to it besides I feel terrible for all those vendors and all those customers who just had a terrible experience. But anyway, Shindig was great. Lots of room, indoors. Yeah, my son had badminton in the morning, so we came home and I had lunch and I went after lunch, and it was fantastic. Like, I highly recommend going in the afternoon to a yarn festival because it's so much more relaxed. I got to go around to all the different booths, and there's lots of vendors there that I know, so I got to visit with everyone, and that was really nice. I may have bought a few things that I'll show you later. Highlight of the month, the year, my life maybe. I was standing at Ocean Loop's booth chatting with Lolly, and a woman was standing beside me, and she said, "I love your podcast." And I was like, so I'm so sorry if this was you. If you're watching this, thank you so much for saying that. Like, I think I just like had froze and like had an out of body experience and didn't really know what to do. And then you were gone. So I thank you so much. Like I wanted to like ask your name and get your Instagram handle and make sure that I'm following you and like all that kind of stuff and chat with you. But that has never happened to me before, so now I kind of feel like I'm Taylor Swift because I like get recognized everywhere I go. No, just kidding. Anyway, you totally made my day, my month, my year. That was very exciting for me. Yeah, and I was in Louise's booth, the Wool Baron, who has amazing self-striping yarn. One of them was inspired by me, but you can go back and visit some previous episodes if you want that whole story. I was in Louise's booth chatting with her, and there was another lady standing there, and she kind of got involved in the conversation, and I was looking at her and I was like, I know you, I know your face. And then I realized she's my neighbor. She lives 3 houses down from me. I can see her house from here. So hi Claire, if you're watching. Yeah, I had no idea that I had a fellow knitter living down the street, and she told me she has like a pottery studio set up in her garage, and her knitter friends like sometimes go out in her studio in the garage and like dye yarn and like indigo dyeing and natural dyeing and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I like it a lot. She invited me to come do some indigo dyeing with her and her knitting posse the next day, but we had like 8 million bajillion kid things that day. So thank you, Claire, for inviting me, and I will definitely come next time. So yeah, that was kind of fun. Her daughter used to babysit my kids. That's how we kind of know each other on the street. from being neighbors. Yeah, and then her daughter went off to university and now is like in her second year of her master's or something. I was like, oh, is she like enjoying her first or second year? She's like, no, she's in her second year of her master's. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a recurring problem. People out there who have kids might recognize this problem. We keep losing our babysitters to university. So she was the second. We've now lost a third to university. So I guess we need to start hiring dumber babysitters. I don't know. Wow. They're almost getting old enough where they can, well, they're not. My oldest is 10 and he's not like the most mature 10. So I wouldn't, like, I could probably like run to the store for 10 minutes and come home or something, but I wouldn't leave them for an extended period of time together. Anyway, so yeah, Shindig was fun. And what else? Halloween is coming up next week. I'm not a big Halloween person, and I don't mean to offend anybody. You are welcome to be a Halloween person and enjoy all of those things. Halloween has kind of I don't know how to talk about this. When I was in high school, I was in grade 11, and I don't know how to talk about this. One of the boys in our kind of friend circle died by suicide on Halloween, on the morning of October 31st. And so when we all got to school, we all found out. And anyway, Halloween has never been the same for me. I don't mind. I have never been able to celebrate how, like, have, like, get dressed up and go and have, like, all that kind of fun until I have kids. And then it kind of got a little bit better because it's kind of cute with, like, the little baby costumes and, like, that's all. I just don't like I don't know, there's a lot of people get really into, like, the gore and, like, the decorating their yards as cemeteries and, like, blood everywhere, and that's kind of, I don't want to say triggering for me, but, like, I don't enjoy that. And it's I am always happy when Halloween is over and then everyone stops being like that. Anyway, I got through that without crying, so that's good. Another thing I can't do related to that kind of traumatic incident was I still can't listen to Nirvana because my friend who died quoted Kurt Cobain in his note that he left. And this was, I don't know, just months, maybe within a year of Kurt Cobain dying. And so, like, I still can't listen to Nirvana. I know that my husband doesn't really enjoy that because we're of the age where that was grunge and everything was us growing up. And I just can't. I actually heard another one is Pearl Jam's Jeremy song, which kind of deals with that sort of subject matter. I actually heard that in my vehicle yesterday, and it just took me immediately back to that day. So anyway, I probably should have put a trigger warning ahead of that because that is some kind of sensitive viewing and not kind of a bummer for a knitting podcast. So let's maybe talk about knitting. Sorry about that. That wasn't very entertaining. But I do feel like you sometimes have to talk about these things because everyone doesn't have a perfect life, and I certainly don't have a perfect life, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm pretending to have a perfect life. So, yeah. reality versus Instagram reality, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, what I'm wearing today, this is going to be the knitting portion. This was my very first cozy classic raglan that I ever made. I think I've made 2 long sleeve ones and 3 short sleeve ones. This is an excellent sweater pattern. Did I say Jessie May? Jessie Martinson, I can't remember. I'll link it down below. As always, my patterns, yarn, designers, everything will all be linked in my notes below. So this is the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie May. And the yarn I used, this is like, it's kind of boxy and oversized. This is the very first one I used, and or the very first one I ever made. And so it's, I don't think I gauge swatched, which shouldn't be really a shocker to anybody that knows me. But when I was, this was probably one of my first-ish sweaters, and I probably should have been gauge swatching then because I didn't know shit. But like now I can pretty much know what my gauge is going to be on what needle with what yarn or whatever, and it's I can ballpark it and it's going to be pretty close. But yeah, so this is big and oversized, probably bigger than I had intended, but it's very cozy and I still wear it lots. The yarn I used for this one the yarn company is now called Sorella Yarn, but this was from before she was calling that her yarn company. I can't remember what it was called. Home Fire. I can't remember what it was called. It's called Sorella now. I think everyone has heard of Sorella Yarn. So this was her, it was called Less Is S'more colorway. It was like a kind of fall, like supposed to be like s'mores, or I don't know. Anyway, this is a worsted weight yarn, and it's a DK weight pattern, and that's probably why it's big. But again, it's very cozy, it's very soft, and yeah, I really like it. Yeah, so like that's a very good pattern. If you haven't made a sweater before, it does have short rows in it, but don't be scared of short rows. Short rows are your friend, and they are not hard. Okay, they're not hard. You're just going back and forth. It's not hard. You can do it. And once you know how to do short rows, like the doors are wide open. There's a million bajillion things you can do, and the short rows make your sweater fit so much better, Just adding that just little bit of extra fabric on the neck makes it sit so it's not, your neck's like, no, your collar's not up here in your neck all the time. Anyway, my brain's kind of all over the place because number 1, ADHD. And number 2, I'm a little time crunched today. I had a dentist appointment this morning. So I've got very clean teeth right now. No cavities, yay. But yeah, so I had drop off the kids. Then I had like 45 to an hour in between that and the dentist. So I just drove to the dentist and sat and knitted in my van until it was time for my appointment. I don't know if that's an ADHD thing or if like it's an anxiety thing, or I don't know what it is, but like I would, if I have a short amount of time in between things, but like I would rather just go to that thing and be there and knit in my van until it's time than come home, knit for a while, and keep my eye on the clock until it's time to go to do that thing. So I don't know. Hopefully I'm not the only one that does that. My kids also have skateboarding camp this evening. It's like 2 hours, and it's like sort of over rush hour, and it's not super far from our house, but the distance in between there, like the way that we get there I will just stay and knit in my van for 2 hours instead of fighting rush hour to get home and then fighting rush hour to get back. Yeah, so I do a lot of vehicle knitting, which works for me. Anyway, I do have a couple of FOs. I have been doing a lot of knitting on my MCal, which I will show you when I get to my whips. But I do have a couple of FOs. Only one physical FO to show you. The other one was a gift that I will put a picture up. I'll just talk about it now. So if you didn't know, I work at Polka Dot Creek Yarn. I am a yarn dyer there. And Shelly, who owns Polka Dot Creek, her and her family recently adopted a handsome little boy, dog, not a handsome boy. They adopted a dog from another family who were looking to rehome this dog, and he is such a good boy, and his name is Augie, and he's our little shop dog. Every once in a while he comes to work and he like keeps us company and he supervises us, and he's the cutest, and he's so happy and he's such a good boy. And so I had to knit him a sweater. It is his birthday this week. I think it might be today or yesterday. He's turning 3. And so I actually made the sweater. I was going to make it for him for Christmas, and then I found out that it was his birthday, so I had to give it to him for his birthday. So I will put a picture up here of handsome boy Augie wearing his sweater that I knitted him. I used the pattern, the Stephen West pattern called Striped Pup Sweater. Stephen West has he has like a ebook or whatever, like a pattern collection of dog sweaters. I think there's 3 of them. I think one's brioche and what's the other one? And then this one is the striped one. And so I think they're all DK weight. They're super like really, I don't have all of the patterns. I just did the striped pup sweater. And I used self-striping yarn from Polka Dot Creek, so I didn't have to like stripe and deal with all those ends. So hot tip there, Polka Dot Creek has DK weight self-striping yarn. So if you want to make your dog a sweater and you don't want to have to manually, physically stripe it, just use self-striping yarn. The colorway that I used, I'll put the picture back up here so you can see it again. The colorway I used is called Thankful. I don't know if there's any left, but if there's not, we actually, I think our Christmas yarn collection was going up today, I believe. So we have a bunch of Christmas self-striping up in the shop right now. So if you wanted to maybe grab one of those. Anyway, it's an excellent pattern. It's very well written and it's very customizable. So you can have a tiny little dog, you can have a giant dog, and he gives you the instructions on how to customize it to make it bigger here or longer in the body or like wider around the chest or whatever. So it's awesome pattern. My other FO I have to show you. Did I tell you? Yes, I told you everything about that one. Polka Dot Creek. Thankful self-striping. Yeah, and the self-striping DK comes in a set. So you have a 100-gram skein of the self-striping, and then you get 2 20-gram minis with it of the contrast color. So that's what I used. My other FO I have kind of just came up, and can't remember what I was doing. Anyway, I was sitting there and I got a text from Jody Brown of she is Mrs. Brown's Bags. She is also Frankie Grade Fibers, and she is one half of the Grocery Girls. And I've done sample knitting and test knitting for her before. And she texted me and said, Tracie, who is the other half of the Grocery Girls and Jody's sister, she said Tracie was looking for test knitters for a new pattern that she has coming out, and she wondered if it would be okay if Jody gave Tracie my number. I was like, okay. Yeah, sure. So a few days later, I heard from Tracie, and she texted and said, are you interested in test knitting this pattern for me? I was like, sure. It's a DK weight bandana cowl. And so it knit up super fast. I think I knit it in like 2 days, which was awesome because it's DK weight and has some striping, has some really fun texture. Like every single section was very, like, I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to keep knitting. So that's always a good thing in a pattern. So it's called the Juniper Cowl. I'm not sure when it's coming out, they're away this week and weekend, I think. I'm not sure. She said something about it being possibly a kit or something through Grocery Girls podcast, so just stay tuned. And I will show you my cowl. So in Tracie's version that she did, and she has it written this way, there's supposed to be 5 different colors of stripes, and then you use those 5 colors in here for these little texture portions, and then you're supposed to use those 5 colors up here in the ribbing too. But I was really, as soon as I saw it, she showed it, her sample, on the last Grocery Girls podcast, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh, that would be really nice, and just like a 2-color version. So that's what I did. I dug around in my just leftovers. I don't have a lot of DK in my stash. Well, I do have DK in my stash, but they're all like sweater quantities that are earmarked for certain things. But I did have a bunch of leftovers of DK tweed from a previous sweater. This one, I think I actually had almost a whole ball of this one. But the rest of them were all leftovers, and I just was, are we shocked? Are we shocked that these are the colors that I picked? No. But I am nothing if not consistent. So the yarn I used is Polka Dot Creek. This is our DK tweed base, which is so soft and squishy and beautiful. And this color is sand, and this color is antique mauve. And yeah, so this section up here, so you start from the bottom. You start from the bottom, cast on here, and then you work your way up, and then you join to do this part, and you bind off up here. And like I said, it knit up super, super fast and was really fun to knit because stripes, super fun to knit, super addictive. This part was super fun to knit. This texture part is really fun. Yeah, and then all I had to do was ribbing and bind off. So I don't want to put it on right now, but it will be really nice up around the neck, and then it'll be really nice like under a jacket. It'll keep you nice and warm. This is how Jody was wearing it on the last podcast. She had it on, and then she like put it up over her ears, so that's real cute. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. That's coming from Tracie Millar. Her Instagram is just_Tracie, Tracie. And yeah, so I think that's coming out fairly soon. But yeah, that was a fun little test knit to throw in there to kind of break up the MCal knitting a little bit. So yeah, thanks Tracie for giving me the opportunity to test knit. That was very fun. Okay, those are my only FOs because I have been doing nonstop MCal knitting. I do have one other whip, which was my only other whip last time. I'm looking at my notes from my last episode. Yeah. I had a couple other whips on my last episode, but I haven't worked on either of those either, so we'll just pretend they don't exist. Okay, so I am still working on my second Clove Sweater by Rachel Kurihara. I will put the link down below. I still haven't done any, I don't think I've put FO pictures on my Instagram grid of my first Clove Sweater. I should really do that. Yeah. Anyway, I wore it on my last episode, I think. No, I was wearing my Comfort Zone shawl. I think it was 2 episodes ago. It's a purple, very simple drop shoulder, like kind of cropped. I'll put a picture up here of the pattern sample, whatever you want to call it, the pattern picture on Ravelry. I really, really love it. I wear that sweater all the time, actually, that purple one, so I wanted to make another one. I'm going to make numerous Clove Sweaters. Actually, I have many plans in my head. But this one I'm doing stripes. And this is the yarn I am using. This is Sonder Yarn Sunday Morning DK, which I purchased from the Sonder Yarn booth at Knit City in Montreal in the spring. Their Sunday Morning DK base is 75% BFL and 25% Masham. And it's very like squishy and springy. And yeah, non-superwash. So this color is called Flat White. This color is called Cover to Cover. That's a better reflection of the color than back here. It just looks black. Yeah, so last time I showed it, I think I had just maybe finished the body. I haven't done a ton on it, but I have made a little bit of progress. Just make sure my needles aren't going to fall off. So I did pick up and knit the collar, and I didn't do on the first one. The pattern recommends that when you pick up your stitches for your collar, you do a certain amount and then you purl one row and then you do that amount again and then tack it down. And I didn't I did that, and I don't like the purl row is where you fold it, so it gives it like a nice line for folding, but I don't like the way that looks, so I just did like the total amount without that purl row and then tacked it down. And so I have started the first sleeve, and this little progress keeper is the Progressive Pride flag. And I got that from Blossom Stitch Company, and I will put their link down below. I bought something else from them at Shindig, so I'll show that too. So I have gotten about that far. I've started my decreases. You can see my stitch markers there from my decreases. What I can say about this is that knitting stripes on sleeves is a fucking pain in the ass. It's just like the tangle is real every time. And like, I'm pretty good at like just flipping one way and flipping the other way. And like, cause I do my sleeves on magic loop. I've tried on 9-inch circulars. I find my gauge gets really weird. I haven't tried the 2 16-inch circulars. I'm tempted to try that, but I'm not going to try it on this one when I've already started a new sleeve. But yeah, so I just like have it sitting in my lap, and I knit the front, or one side, flip it, knit the back, flip it, whatever. But I just can't seem to wrap my head around like managing the yarn so it doesn't get tangled. It just is a tangled disaster. But that's how far I've gotten. I finished, I think I had finished the front. This is the front. I think I had finished the ribbing on the bottom, my split hem. I did just a little bit longer on the back than on the front because I like how that sits. And yeah, so that's my Clove Sweater, my second one. And that's living in my bag that my mom made me for my birthday. This is a replica of the old Fringe Supply Company bags that they don't make anymore, but you can buy the pattern on Green Line Studio, and that's what my mom did and made me one because I love those. I'll put a link for Green Line Studio pattern, or the website, down below. You can buy kits too with the fabric and everything with the pattern. Okay, MCal. So I think last time, was I finished my first clue? I think I was finished my first clue. So I just finished clue 3. Clue 4 came out yesterday, the final clue. I won't give any spoilers. I will say spoiler alert right now though, because I'm going to show everything I've finished. I've finished clue 3. So if you don't want to see clue 1, clue 2, and clue 3, look away. I'll put down here when you can, if I remember. Anyway, I really enjoyed clue 2. Stephen, every once in a while, he has what he calls a Moare Dare, which is where you can add mohair to your MCal. And sorry, if you don't know what MCal is, it's a mystery knit along. Stephen West, he has West Knits on Instagram. He has an MCal every year. So you don't know what the design looks like. He just tells you what kind of, how many colors of yarn and how much of yarn of each color you need. And then a clue comes out once a week for 4 weeks. And then you have a shawl at the end. So I've never done it before. This is my first year and I'm very much enjoying it. From what I'm seeing on Instagram, a lot of people, after the MCal last year, was a lot of people didn't really love it and decided maybe not to do the MCal anymore. And then this year, from what I'm seeing people post, is that a lot of people are regretting not doing it this year, because this year it turns out to be one of the most wearable designs that he has done, and also probably one of the least complicated designs that he has put out. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. So I had showed you that middle part was clue 1 with my little oopsie there, but then clue 2 was adding these rows with the eyelets, and you can't really tell, but I added mohair to my eyelet rows. I had 2 different, I don't have them in here and I don't even remember what, they were just like leftover balls of mohair in my stash. So I added mohair to those eyelet rows. You can't see it, but like I can see the halo. Anyway, I can, like, when I'm sitting here looking at it, because the sun is shining in my window, I can see all kinds of halo and coziness, and I love it. And then clue 3, which I just finished right before starting to record this podcast, was this part with all this texture. So none of this has been difficult knitting. This was all garter stitch. I mean, this isn't his design, but it was a modification of clue 1 after the whole clue 1 stuff. And then this was like basically just garter and stockinette with some eyelets, easy peasy. And this section has just been slipping stitches. So that texture is all, like, it looks like cables, but all that texture is just slipping stitches and using the floats from those slip stitches to create this texture. So it was really fun. I really enjoy slipping stitches. My name is Stitches Be Slippin', so there you go. My stitches have been slipping like crazy. So I just finished the first half, like you did one side and then you did the other side. So the first half felt like it took forever. Like this section isn't huge, but from the beginning to here is 208 rows. So it is a lot of it's dense. But that, yeah, it's fingering weight yarn, 208 rows plus 208 more rows on the other side. So it took, the first half felt like it took forever. And then I got in the groove, and the second half didn't take nearly as long, or didn't feel like it took as long. So this is my whole, so this is the top, and there's one wing, and then there's the other wing. No, I'm not going to spoil it, but I am very excited about the direction of clue 4 and what the shape is going to end up like. I feel like it's gonna be very wearable and it's not crazy complicated. I was very worried about what Stephen was gonna throw at us this week, because his designs in the past have been quite, some of them are pretty out there. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I need to tell you about my yarn that I'm using though. I am using, drumroll please, Polka Dot Creek yarn. And so this MCal, he said for your yarn requirements, you needed a 4-color gradient from light to dark. And I did get a kit from Sonder Yarn, which is beautiful, but I wasn't happy with the, not that I wasn't happy, it's gorgeous, beautiful yarn, but the 2 colors, like between color 1, 2, 3, 4, color 2 and 3 were very, very close in value, like color value. Like they were different. You can see that there were different colors, but when you do the black and white trick, like take a picture and turn it to black and white, and they looked the same. You can tell the difference between like one with, what the hell? My bangs are a little crazy today. Oh, bangs, the life of bangs. Anyway, they were very similar in value, so I wanted it to be like a true gradient. I don't know why. I get these things in my brain. Anyway, this is my yarn. I'm using Polka Dot Creek yarn. We have a brand new non-superwash fingering weight base, which is, it's squishy, it's twisty, it's unbelievably soft. You would never, ever, ever know that it's not a superwash yarn. It feels, it's like 100%, I don't think I have my tags in here, 100% merino, and it's like a 20 micron or 20.5 micron or whatever, which I don't know what that means. It just means it's insanely soft. Okay, so this is color 1, which is vintage. It's a very, very light blushy pink. It's not beige. This second color is, oh crap, oh, Dusty Rose. My mind just went blank. So we have vintage, Dusty Rose, Antique Mauve, which you saw earlier in my cowl that I made for, that I test knitted for Tracie. This was this is that color, but this is DK Tweed. This is non-superwash fingering. Look at the twist on this. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. And then my last color is chestnut. So vintage, Dusty Rose, Antique Mauve, and chestnut. It's so pretty. I've been having a lot of the grass is greener on the other side moments, just like scrolling through the hashtag for this MCal. It's called the Geo Gradient Mystery Knit Along, and the hashtag is, I think it's West Knits MCal 2023, and there's just thousands of projects, and I have been having a lot of like, why didn't I pick those colors? Why didn't I pick those colors? Those colors are amazing. But that happens to me with everything. I always like pick my colors and I'm like, yes, they're beautiful. And then 10 minutes into knitting them, I'm like, I'm so tired of this. So that's just a me problem. I have a progress marker on the front of this, not for any particular reason other than it's really pretty. It's very easy to tell the front from the back of this project, that's for sure. You can see the back's a bit of a mess. So yeah, it's not to mark the front and the back because it's very easy to figure that out. It's just pretty. That is an Ocean Loops Progress Keeper. This was a gift, a Christmas gift for me from my coworker Krista last year. So thank you, Krista. We do a Secret Santa at work every year, and she had me last year. So that's part of what I got for my Secret Santa present. My MCal is living in my Her Leather Co bag. I've talked a lot about Alyssa before. She makes really awesome project bags. Mine is a little bit beat up because I use it all the time. It's a little dirty because it goes everywhere with me. But yeah, it's got a nice big pocket. It's got pockets inside. It like opens nice and wide and fits all kinds of stuff in there. So this is, I think, her larger boxy. I don't know what the actual name of it is called, but I'll put a link to her website down below. What is there? Oh, I think I spilled something on it. Sorry, Alyssa. But I'm hard on my bags, so it's very hard wearing. It's leather. She's a very good maker. Everything is very sturdy and and beautiful at the same time. Oh shoot, I didn't bring my, I'll have to go get those when I talk about that, because I bought something else from her at Shindig too that are amazing. Okay, just putting all my yarn back in there. See, it holds lots of stuff. I've got all my yarn, my shawl, got lots of stuff in the bottom there, some candies probably, because I am me. Okay, I'm gonna go grab those other things because I am down to my acquisitions, and I will be right back. They were here in the bag with all my acquisitions the whole time. I just searched all over for them. Anyway, so yeah, I went to the Fiber Shindig, and I of course went to her Leather Co booth and visited with Alyssa because she is awesome and makes really lots of awesome things. She has one bag there that's just like this, but it's like kind of teal, and the pocket is like bright pink, and like, oh, it's so gorgeous. I have like 2 of these bags, and they're a bit of an investment, but they're absolutely 100% worth it. And I was like, oh, if I didn't already have 2 of those bags, I would buy that in a heartbeat. But I did still buy these. She makes these cute little, these are like just leather that she has lots of leather scraps and stuff, obviously, from making all these bags. And she posted these on her Instagram stories, I think, one day. And I was like, oh my God, are you bringing those to Shindig? Because I need some of those. And she said she wasn't planning to, and then she did. And then I think she sold a bunch of them. So follow me for more business tips. Yeah, they're awesome. Actually, probably should be wearing them right now. They're so light. The fixture, or fast, I don't know what you call it, but this part, it's, I'll put one on so you can see what they look like when I'm wearing them. But they're so light, and I put them on immediately. I bought them from her and put them on right in front of her, and then walked around the rest of Shindig. I didn't clasp it, but like, it's so light. And I kept walking around, and people kept saying, oh, wow, those earrings are awesome. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I had them on, because I cannot feel that swinging. It's just super, super, super light. So yeah, go check out Alyssa, her leather company, her Leather Co. The link will be down below. And yeah, who else did I go visit? I went and visited the Blossom Stitch Company, Blossom Stitch Co. I'll put the link down below. They make lots of little stitch markers and progress keepers. They had some tote bags. They have lots of like little notiony things. One of the new things they had is stickers, and I love stickers. So I got a couple of these. Knit fast, dye warm. I put one of these immediately on my skateboarding helmet. I'll put that there and show you. It's a very, like, it's a good, like, I'm a knitter, but I'm also a badass kind of like thing. So it was very perfect for my skateboarding helmet. So I got a couple of those. I think I'm gonna put one on my vehicle too, and maybe a water bottle. I don't know. Yeah, so that was good. They had lots of good stuff there. Okay, I think probably my favorite purchase was this bag. Introverted, but willing to discuss social justice and yarn. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I don't want to make small talk. I don't care about the weather. Like, the weather sucks right now. Somebody was just snow blowing out there because it snowed again last night. Yes, it has finally snowed here. We're actually, here I am making small talk with you. We're very lucky that we made it this long, honestly, without snow. Usually it snows in September. Anyway, so willing to talk about social justice and yarn. Those are pretty much the things that I like talking about. Sometimes my kids. Mostly yarn. But this is an awesome size bag. Like, there's a lot of shit in here. And it has a zipper. And it has a pocket with a zipper on the inside. So these were my friend Jen, who is the Fiber Goddess. I will put a link to her website down below. And it's right here. www.fibergoddess.ca. Oh, some fluff on there. I don't know if she has any of these left, but I think she's getting more. So it was a big hit. Lots of people liked them. what else did I get? A little bit of crinkling. Oh, also from Jen, Fiber Goddess. She has beautiful yarn. She has lots of really, really gorgeous, like kind of luxury bases. I don't think I bought her luxury bases, but excuse me. I did buy 2 skeins of her Emma base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And I bought these 2 colors. This is coming up a little more orangey than it is, but that's because it's the light shining right on it. This color is called Wet Hole, and this color is called Despite All My Rage. And I think they look amazing together. I think they would look really amazing together in some sort of like brioche or 2-color something. They were hanging beside each other on the hooks, and they were like, take me together. We can't go alone. We'll get lonely. Yeah, so Wet Hole was named after Jen went to Knit City in Vancouver last year as a vendor, and her booth had like a manhole in the middle of it, and it was all like wet and gross and whatever. And so this year she did a colorway in honor of the wet manhole that she had in her booth last year, and so she called it Wet Hole, and I love it. And yeah, so that's those 2 I got from Jen. And right around the corner from Jen was Sea Turtle Fiber Arts, which is Sarah, and she comes to our knit night sometimes. Jen also is the organizer of the Capitol Hill knit night that I go to on Wednesdays, so if you ever are in town and want to go, come and see us. Jen posts on the Fiber Goddess, on her Fiber Goddess Instagram page, the dates, because they're not every week, right? So she posts the dates when they're happening. So anyway, Sea Turtle Fiber Arts is Sarah, and she has lots of really cool, she has a really amazing, like thick, plump sock yarn. She calls it Ridley sock, I think. But it's almost like a sport weight. It's thick and like makes really nice, cozy socks. I didn't get any of that this time, but I did get this one. This is called A Million Dreams, and it is on her sparkle sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. I don't know if you can see the sparkling. Oh, there you can see some. But it is so sparkly, and it's got like rainbow speckles all over it. And I try not to buy single skeins of things that I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but there was no way that this was not coming home with me, because it's just, oh, I love it. Oh, and now it's on the floor. Sorry. And then the other thing I got from her was some zebra sock yarn, which she dyed with some blues on it, which is really pretty, and I think will make some really nice socks for my husband. He really loves the knitted socks that I make him, so this is her zebra sock base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and the colorway is called Anti-Hero, which is also why I really liked it. And so that's what I got from Sarah. And then I stopped at the Prairie Spirit Alpacas booth. I will put a link down below. I don't know if their shop is up right now, because unfortunately a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I can't remember how long it was, they had a really devastating fire on their farm. They had a fresh batch of hay, like feed, come in, and they put it in the barn, and it heated internally and ignited, and the whole barn burned down, including some of the animals, some of the alpacas, her farm dog, like the entire barn burnt down, and it just like devastating. They had all of their fleeces in the barn that they sell, like this alpaca farm, they sell the fleeces, they make yarn, and they sell like all this alpaca stuff. So it was really devastating. So there's been a GoFundMe going on. I'll see if I can find the link for the GoFundMe and put it down below. They're having one of the yarn stores in Calgary is organizing a fundraiser, like a fundraiser knit night in a few weeks. And yeah, but so I was surprised to see them there at the booth, but I was very excited to see them there because I wanted to go and support her. She had a sample in her booth of the Alpine Blooms hat, and like I've seen it before and I think it's really beautiful. And the sample that they had, I'll put a picture up here. I think I took a picture of it, and this is a picture of the sample, and they had kits made up in those colors, which I bought. I bought that kit with those colors, but then I also bought some different colors to make the same thing. Anyway, this yarn is the softest yarn on the planet. This is 100% pure alpaca yarn, and it is, like, seriously, I was talking to Jenny, helps out Carmen. Carmen is the alpaca farmer, and Jenny is a friend of mine who goes to our knit night sometimes, and she always helps in Carmen's booth. And Jenny said when they were at Knit City in Vancouver, I think just the last one, they had someone come up to them and say, I have been to every other booth at Knit City and touched all the yarn in every other booth, and this is the softest yarn in this building, which is a pretty serious thing. When you're at Knit City, there's a lot of vendors there and a lot of soft yarn. This yarn is unbelievable. It is like, it feels like cashmere. It just is so unbelievably soft. So I bought the kit for the colors that they had their sample made, but I also wanted, I wanted to like support her and get not a lot, but like more than just a little kit. So I bought these 2 skeins, and I have that same hat in mind for that, with this as the main color and this as the contrast color for the flowers and stuff. This is sort of inspired by Mari, the Colorado knitter. She has a new podcast on YouTube, and she made the Alpine Blooms tea, I think, in very similar colors. I don't think it was dark. I think the main color was this, and then the contrast color was lighter, like a natural color. But these colors kind of reminded me of that and of her, and of like, since it was that same kind of pattern. So I'm very much looking forward to making that. Like, seriously, the softest yarn you'll ever feel in your entire life. So if they do have their shop open, please go and check it out and order something, or go to their GoFundMe, or go to the fundraiser. You can check out, what's her handle? Chinook Knits, I think. I'll look it up and write it down on here. She is one of the people that's organizing the fundraiser for Prairie Spirit Alpacas. So you can go to her Instagram page and check out the details for that if you want to go to that. I think you have to buy tickets, and she'll have the link in there somewhere. Anyway, I have to go pick up my kids from school. I think that was all I had to say, Shindig. Oh, one other thing that I just got recently, which probably isn't going to be new to any of you, is Nit Companion App on my iPad, iPhone. I never knew that it was a free app, and I don't know why I have this like mental block where I don't want to pay for apps. I don't know why. But it's a free app, and it's amazing. You can put all your patterns from Ravelry in it. You can like have local patterns that are locally saved on your iPad or your iPhone or whatever. It has like a highlighter markers that you move around. It has like notes at the bottom. There is a part of it that you can pay extra for, where you can like scribble all over it like you would on your paper pattern or whatever. I have always been a hardcore paper pattern person. I downloaded Knit Companion about halfway through this MCAL, and I haven't printed anything since, because I find it really, really helpful for following along where I am in the pattern. It would be especially awesome for charts, like colorwork charts, cable charts, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, go check it out. Very Pink Knits. She has a YouTube channel, and she has a few videos on how to use Knit Companion app that are excellent tutorial videos on how to use it and all the different features. There's so many free features. Like, I can't believe this app is free, to be totally honest. There's lots of counters in there. I don't know if you remember, I was looking for a counter for my Apple Watch. Don't need that anymore, because I can just count rows and whatever on there's like 6 separate counters. And anyway, go check that out. I mean, pretty much everyone already knows about Nit Companion and has it. I'm very late to this party, but I'm very much enjoying it. Yeah, so anyway, I have to go pick up my kids. That wasn't a very liberally or sweary or anything kind of podcast, so I was in a rush, so I couldn't really bring all that stuff out. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with me if you've been around for a long time, and thanks for checking me out if you're new. If you're new and you made it all the way to the end of this video, congratulations. And I'll be back soon, hopefully in 2 weeks, and I will see you next time. Thanks, bye.